Big day. Big day. So we have 14 games today. The only teams with the day off, Edmonton and San Jose, who played last night. And it looks like the Columbus Blue Jackets are the third team that has the night off. Other than that, everybody's in action, and it's going to be crazy because none of them are matinee games. I'm going to do my best to follow as much as I can tonight, but Friday and Saturday we'll have matinee games. There's going to be more varied start times. That's going to be crazy too. 15 games on Friday, 14 games I believe on Saturday. It's either 11 or 14, and it doesn't matter. This is going to be a crazy few days. So let's go ahead and jump in with Winnipeg and Calgary. Winnipeg, now 12-5-2, and I still say they're playing the best hockey in the NHL right now. They're in against the Flames 12-8-1, and Winnipeg has to feel pretty good about themselves coming out of that win in Vancouver. The trick when you go into a game like that is, the team is down and they've been struggling, and you don't want to be the one that helps them get their confidence back. And Winnipeg was not that. Didn't help Vancouver get their confidence back. Now they're in against a team in Calgary that's actually been playing pretty well the last week, and we'll see how things work out. Leading scorer for Winnipeg, Blake Wheeler, 3 goals, 21 assists, followed by Scheifele, 11 goals, 11 assists. Connor, 10 goals, 10 assists. Laine, 11 goals, 3 assists. Bufflin, 2 goals, 12 assists. Little, 4 goals, 5 assists. Ehlers, 4 goals, 5 assists. And Jacob Trouba with 1 goal and 8 assists. On the Calgary side of things, Tkachuk, 11 goals, 14 assists. Monahan, 12 goals, 12 assists. Gaudreau, 7 goals, 17 assists for him. Lindholm, 11 goals, 11 assists. Giordano, 2 goals, 18 assists. Backlund, 3 goals, 8 assists. Hanifin, 8 assists. And Frolik, 7 goals. It's amazing just how strong first lines are right now in the NHL. And then how little scoring there is beyond it. I mean, we've talked a lot about Edmonton and Boston that way, and Colorado, but there's a lot of them. You just load up that first line and go with it. And I do need to do a video. Maybe I'll have time tomorrow because there won't be any games to get into which top line or which top 3 goal scorers score the most goals for each team, or by percentage. Goaltenders. Let me go ahead and see what else has been confirmed with goaltenders this morning. So yeah, no confirmation on goaltenders in the Winnipeg-Calgary game. Brossois' numbers with Winnipeg, 3-0-1 with a 1.47 goals against, 959 save percentage. Connor Hellebuck, 9-5-1, 2.74 goals against, 913 save percentage. On the Flames side of things, Riddick, 7-1, of course, 1.93 goals against, 931 save percentage. Mike Smith, 5-7-1 with a 3.48 goals against, 876 save percentage. Over their last 10, Winnipeg 6-3-1, Calgary 7-3 on the road. Winnipeg's 4-3-0, and at home, Calgary is 6-3-1. Hazarding a guess here, I would say that Calgary is the team that comes in with a lot of momentum at home. I would think Winnipeg probably wins, or I would think Calgary probably wins this game, but you don't count Winnipeg out in anything, and right now they're clicking on all cylinders. It's going to be interesting to see what Laine does, because there's been a lot of talk about Laine, and he's not playing very well, but thanks to the 2 hat tricks, including the one I witnessed the other night in Vancouver, Laine's on pace for about 50 goals. He's on pace for about 12 assists, but he's on pace for about 50 goals. So it's really strange because there's been all this talk about Laine and how he's not very good right now, and yet 50 goals is possible. Of course, he'd have to get 9 or 10 hat tricks on the way there. That'd be a really weird 50-goal season. Hat tricks are nothing. At the rate he's been scoring anyways. Okay, Vegas, 9-12-1, and their last game felt like an expansion team game. They're in against the Arizona Coyotes, who are 9-9-1, and who have looked like an expansion team for years, and this year they finally look competitive. And when you look at the scorers for Vegas, yeah, it's an expansion team. What happened last year with Vegas was this lightning in a bottle thing, and they are trying to get back to where they were, and it's been a frustrating journey to be sure. But I think that, a step back and a top draft pick this year, I don't think that would hurt Vegas very much in the long term. It's really hard short term, especially after what they did last year. Leading scorers for Vegas, Marchessault, 10 goals, 9 assists for him. Carlson, 5 goals, 12 assists. Tuck, 5 goals, 7 assists. Eakin, 8 goals and 3 assists. Smith, 4 goals, 7 assists for him. Theodore, 2 goals, 8 assists. Colin Miller's on the board now with 9 assists. And Holden, 3 goals, 5 assists for him. On the Arizona side of things, Clayton Keller, 5 goals, 7 assists. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, 2 goals, 10 assists. Grabner, 5 goals, 5 assists. Hinostroza, 4 goals, 6 assists. So 10 points for Hinostroza. He's on pace for 40 this year. Nice. Richardson, 6 goals, 2 assists. Stepan, 4 goals, 4 assists. Galchenyuk, 3 goals and 5 assists for him. And Goligoski, 1 goal, 6 assists. So, pretty decent scoring for Arizona, especially considering the start they had to the season. And considering the guys they have on the ice. These are not huge scoring stars. Keller is going to be a star, but everybody else on the team is either underachieving or they're your blue collar players. And yeah, it's an interesting bunch, and it's going to be fun to see who wins this one tonight, because I have no clue. Because Vegas can look like last year Vegas, but then sometimes they look like whatever that was against Calgary the other night. Marc-Andre Fleury hasn't been confirmed, but he'll start. 9-8-1, 2.63 goals against, 901 save percentage. Malcolm Subban did not help his resume for being a goaltender in the National Hockey League with his game the other night, although he did, make sure no other goals went in the third period, which isn't nothing, I guess. He's 0-4 now with a 4.02 goals against, 859 save percentage. It's pretty brutal. Goaltenders on the Arizona side, I would think it'd be Kemper, 4-5-1 record, 2.7 goals against, 917 save percentage. Miska, I believe, still there. No record for him, 3.28 goals against, 889 save percentage. And of course, we're waiting on Ronta, 5-4 record, 2.1 goals against, 928 save percentage. Over their last 10, Vegas is 4-6. Over here, their last 10, Arizona's 5-4-1. So, on the road, Vegas is an ugly 4-9. And that road record is just killing their chances at making the playoffs. At home, Arizona's 5-4. So, 5 wins, 4 losses for Arizona. This would all seem to indicate Arizona's going to win. The problem is, Vegas has been that unpredictable. Completely and totally unpredictable this year. Usually they're on the losing side. 13 times out of 22 games they've been on the losing side of things. But on any given night, you never know what you're getting with the Knights. Just no idea. Vegas reasons. New York Islanders, 10-7-2. They're going in against the 11-8-2 New York Rangers. And the Rangers have started winning some games outright. They've started getting some wins that are convincing, of the convincing nature. At the beginning of their winning streak, it was sort of, okay, that was a shootout. There was some luck involved there. That's kind of gone away. And the Rangers have been looking pretty good lately. Scoring leaders for the Islanders, Bailey, 6 goals, 13 assists. Barzal, 2 goals, 16 assists. Nelson, 9 goals, 6 assists. Lee, 6 goals, 9 assists. Filppula, 5 goals, 7 assists. Eberle, 5 goals, 5 assists. Cizikas, 5 goals, 4 assists. And Leo Komarov, 3 goals and 6 assists to round out the scorers for the Islanders. On the Rangers side, Kreider, 11 goals, 7 assists. Zibanejad, 7 goals, 10 assists. Hayes, 4 goals, 9 assists. Pionk, 3 goals, 10 assists. Howden, 4 goals, 8 assists for him. VC, 7 goals, 4 assists. Zuccarello, 3 goals, 7 assists. And Buchnevich, 5 goals and 4 assists. Despite being injured, he's still in the top 8. Goaltenders, Robin Lehner's confirmed for tonight. He's got a 4-4-1 record, 2.77 goals against, 915 save percentage. Grice will back him up, 6-3-1 record, 2.49 goals against, 925 save percentage. It's started to fall apart, the goaltending for the Islanders over the last couple of weeks. So we'll see if they can get it back together. On the Rangers side of things, Georgiev starting tonight. He has a 3-2 record, 3.6 goals against, 894 save percentage. And he'll be backed up by Lundqvist, who has an 8-6-2 record, 2.61 goals against average, and a 919 save percentage. Over their last 10, the Islanders are 6-3-1. The Rangers are 8-1-1. On the road, the Islanders are 5-5, and at home, the Rangers are 8-3. So this homestand and the various home games that have been played by the Rangers doing wonderful things for their record overall, and the Islanders on the road are 500. Based on last week's game between the Islanders and the Rangers, I would say Rangers probably win this one to make the series between the two even. Based on last week's game being 7-5, I would say tonight will be 1-0 or 2-1. That's usually the way these things work. Because it's unpredictable from game to game how many goals you're going to get from teams. I would think we're going to get a bushel of goals tonight across a lot of games, but we'll see. Certainly 2 nights ago we did. And then there's those nights too where there's barely any goals scored. So, and it's weird too because it's almost like all the players get together before the games and go, okay, tonight let's get some goals, or tonight let's make the goalies look really good, or maybe the goalies get together and go, shutouts tonight, guys. Should we bother? Nah, we should let them get some goals. We want those highlights. Bettman's telling us we should let in some more goals, so we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll leave our equipment alone. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup because both Leonard and Georgiev are the backups. I like Leonard a lot. I like Georgiev a lot. I would like to see both of them have a good game. So, be interesting to see what happens there. Next up, Chicago. The Hawks are 8-5 right now, and they're looking to get on a run. Those overtime losses help them avoid being below 500. They're in against the very inconsistent Washington Capitals. But the Caps are coming off of back-to-back wins. They're 10-7-3 right now, and they're really starting to look like they're going to round into form. And it's interesting because they're doing this while some of their bigger names have been getting hurt and out of the lineup, that kind of thing. It can be adversity that brings everybody together and causes the team to play better. I've seen it. It happens. Scoring leaders from Chicago. Kane, 12 goals, 13 assists. Taves, 10 goals, 8 assists. DeBrincat, 9 goals, 7 assists. Saad, 6 goals, 4 assists for him. Seabrook, 3 goals, 7 assists. Yoki Haru, 10 assists. Cahoon, 2 goals, 7 assists. Anisimov, 2 goals and 7 assists to round out the Hawks scoring. On the Washington side of things, Ovechkin leads the way in scoring. 15 goals and 8 assists. So he has 15 goals in 20 games. He's on pace for 60. But people are still going to tell me that he'll slow down soon, and he's not going to end up being top 2 in the all-time goal-scoring leaders. Sure. Backstrom, 6 goals, 17 assists. Kuznetsov, 6 goals, 15 assists. Carlson, 5 goals, 16 assists for him. Oshie, 9 goals, 5 assists. Eller, 4 goals, 7 assists. Connolly, 3 goals, 8 assists. And Jacob Vrana, 5 goals and 5 assists to round out the top 8. Goaltenders, Crawford starting tonight. He's 5-6-1 with a 2.44 goals against, 922 save percentage. Cam Ward, 3-2-4 with a 3.81 goals against, 891 save percentage, will be the backup. On the Washington side, Holtby starting, 6-5-2 record, 3.07 goals against, 906 save percentage. Copley will be backing him up, 4-2-1 record, 3.07 goals against, 899 save percentage. When you look at their records over the last 10, Chicago's 2-5-3, but they've been getting better. The Capitals 5-4-1, and they've been getting better. On the road, the Hawks are 3-5-2, which is not inspiring, but the Capitals at home are 5-3-2, meaning that if you include overtime losses as losses, they're 5-5 at home. So this is a very unpredictable game. I would say Washington because they're going to round into form and make the playoffs this year at some point, right? Of the two between Washington and Pittsburgh, I have more faith in Washington being able to get it together and get themselves into a playoff spot because I think Holtby is a better goaltender than either option in Pittsburgh. Not that his numbers show him being better than DeSmith right now. Absolutely not. But maybe coming back from injury, replacing Copley, maybe tonight he'll have another big game and his stats will look even better. But it's one of those games where it's West versus East, so you don't have the rivalry. But because Chicago desperately needs these points, I would expect an interesting game in that, the Capitals were going to look at this game and they're going to go, all right, we got to, assert ourselves against the Hawks. And the Hawks are saying, we're not done making the playoffs. We've got to get back in because we were out last year, and if we're out back-to-back years, and certainly also from Chicago's point of view, they've got a coach in there right now who wants to show he can do the job full time. So if the Hawks win some games that they're not supposed to, that's a good way to take interim off your title and just become head coach. Philly. So the Flyers, 9-9-2, in against the Buffalo Sabres, who are an impressive 13-6-2. Buffalo's been very impressive, and honestly, I don't know how far this is going to go, but it's been a fun ride. Philly's going to be a big test because Philly can score a bunch. And Philly has a wild card up their sleeve potentially tonight, in that they're going to have their fourth goaltender make his season debut tonight. And we'll continue to see lots of goaltenders in Philly, I would think, for the rest of the year. This is just how it's working out. On the Philly side of things with scoring, Giroux, 7 goals, 17 assists. Voracek, 5 goals, 12 assists. Couturier, 8 goals, 6 assists. Simmons, 8 goals, 3 assists. Goes to Spare, 3 goals, 8 assists. Konechny, 5 goals, 5 assists. Lindblom, 4 goals, 6 assists. And Nolan Patrick's on the board with 5 goals, 4 assists. On the Buffalo side of things, Eichel leads the way with 5 goals, 19 assists. Skinner, 14 goals, 8 assists. Pominville, 9 goals, 8 assists. Reinhart, 2 goals, 12 assists. Okposo, 5 goals, 8 assists. Sherry, 6 goals, 5 assists. Ristolainen, 2 goals, 9 assists. And Dahlin, 2 goals and 8 assists to round out the scorers for the Buffalo Sabres. Goaltenders, Neuwirth, injured, 0-1, 6.00 goals against, 727 save percentage. Pickard, he's backing up tonight, 3-1-2 record, 4.6 goals against, and an ugly 852 save percentage. Ugly. Just ugly. Elliott, 6-7 record, 2.59 goals against, 911 save percentage. He's still hurt, so who's playing tonight? Alex Lyon is making his debut tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers. He'll be up against Carter Hutton. Hutton's got a 9-6-1 record, 2.61 goals against, 917 save percentage. And Ullmark, 4-0-1 record, 2.65 goals against, 922 save percentage. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say Buffalo's streak continues. However, Philadelphia does have a number of players who can score. And with Lyon in net, maybe he has a big game. Because if nothing else, we can just stuff that crease with goaltenders and see just how many guys can play for Philly this year. And again, once everybody gets healthy, I'm guessing Pickard ends up getting sent down. That 852 save percentage isn't saving his job at the NHL level. But if Lyon plays well, when Neuwirth comes back, they may have a decision to make. Because Philly isn't in a position to say, all right, well, Lyon's the better goaltender, but he doesn't have to clear waivers, so we could just keep Neuwirth. They're in a position that if Lyon's playing well and it gives them a better shot at the playoffs, if you got to waive Neuwirth, that's what you got to do. Last 10 games, Philadelphia 5-3-2, Buffalo 7-2-1. They've been excellent. On the road, Philadelphia is surprisingly 5-3-1. They're better away from Philadelphia than they are at home. Remember when it was really terrifying going into Philadelphia? And no? All right. At home, Buffalo's 6-2-1. So Buffalo has an excellent home record. Philadelphia's got a pretty solid record on the road. Let's see what happens tonight. Let's see if at American Thanksgiving, Buffalo can perhaps move up a little bit further than where they already are. A 14-6-2 record at American Thanksgiving would be insane for the Buffalo Sabres. Just absolutely insane. Unpredictable and insane. Next up, Florida. The Battle of Florida. 8-7-3. Florida Panthers are in against the 14-6-1 Tampa Bay Lightning. I expect a very angry Tampa Bay Lightning team tonight. And it's weird because at 14-6-1, you look and you go, yeah, Florida's having Tampa's having a fantastic season. Yes, but it's not as good as last year. It is so weird to look at last year's numbers and realize, wow, Tampa's kind of fallen back a bit when they're still right up with the top teams in the East. Anyways, scorers for Florida, Dadonov, 9 goals, 10 assists. Hoffman also has 9 goals, 10 assists. Hoffman's become quite the story this year. Barkov, 6 goals, 11 assists. Yandel, 4 goals, 13 assists. Huberdeau, 4 goals, 12 assists. Trocheck, 3 goals, 11 assists. Bukestad, 4 goals, 5 assists. And Frankie Vetrano, 6 goals and 1 assist for him. On the Tampa Bay side of things, Point, of course, is their leader. 14 goals and 12 assists now. Kucherov, 8 goals, 16 assists. Gourde, 8 goals, 12 assists. Stamkos, 6 goals, 11 assists. Miller, 5 goals, 10 assists. Johnson, 7 goals, 7 assists. McDonough, 1 goal, 12 assists. And Killorn, 2 goals and 8 assists for him. Goaltenders, no confirmation for Florida. I'm thinking Luongo. He has a 4-2 record, 2.48 goals against, 918 save percentage. Reimer, 3-4-1, 3.28 goals against, 894 save percentage. And of course, in the American League currently, Michael Hutchinson, 1-1-2 record, 4.17 goals against, 839 save percentage. Tampa, we know Vasi's not playing, but he's tops on the chart with a 9-3-1 record, 2.29 goals against, 927 save percentage. And having played every minute since Vasilevsky got hurt is Louis Domingue, who has a 5-3 record now with a 3.52 goals against, 892 save percentage. Save percentage is creeping down into kind of scary territory, but Tampa Bay is staying afloat. On their last 10, both teams are 6-4, which is surprising. Very surprised that Florida still shows a 6-4 considering the week they've had. On the road, Florida's 5-4-2, and at home, Tampa Bay is 7-3. So, Battle of Florida. It's never really been a huge blood feud. Maybe this year that can finally take place. Florida's been looking better, but still, they can't consistently get over that hump. And if Luongo shows more cracks like he had in his last 2 starts, if Reimer doesn't show signs of becoming that starter that they're going to need for A, when Luongo's hurt, and B, for when Luongo is gone, Florida's dead in the water without goaltending, is what I'm saying. It's been goaltending that's decided whether they win or lose a lot of their games, and I don't see tonight being any different since they're in against Tampa, a team that they're pretty deadly in their own right. All right, I'm going to go to board number 2. You have Canada Post to thank for the fact that I'm using Scratchy here. I had ordered a new board for today that was supposed to arrive yesterday, but because of the Canada Post strike, it's still in Ontario. So I'm going to move to one of the good boards next, and I've got 3 boards set up for today. And we are starting with Boston and Detroit. So the Bruins are 11-6-3. Detroit is 9-9-2. Detroit's in an interesting position tonight. They can go out there and they end up above 500 if they get a win tonight over the Bruins. The Bruins, on the other hand, doing their best to build some momentum. And for Tuukka Rask, this is another chance to start really building that confidence. His numbers have been getting better. Let's see if he can continue on that road. The 11-6-3 Bruins are led in scoring by a number of people who are hurt. At the top of the list, Bergeron, 9 goals and 17 assists. He won't be playing for a month, so he's going to lose his spot. How does Pastrnak work without Bergeron? 17 goals and 8 assists for him. It's going to be a struggle for him to keep up that pace. Marchand, 6 goals, 15 assists. Krejci, 2 goals, 14 assists. DeBrusk, 8 goals and 2 assists. Grzelcyk, 1 goal, 7 assists. McAvoy, who's still hurt, 1 goal, 5 assists. And Krug, 6 assists. If Krejci can step into that number 1 center spot and feed the puck to Pastrnak the way that Bergeron was, absolutely that can continue and Krejci can build up his points. But I'm not holding my breath on that right now. On the Detroit side of things, Larkin leads them in scoring with 8 goals, 11 assists. Nyquist, 2 goals, 13 assists. Athanasiou, 7 goals, 5 assists. Bertuzzi, 5 goals, 6 assists for him. Cholowski, 3 goals, 7 assists. Nielsen, 10 assists for him. Matha, 6 goals, 3 assists. And Green's on the board now with 1 goal and 8 assists. He's been solid when he's been playing. Rask is starting for Boston. He has a 4-4-1 record, 2.78 goals against, 912 save percentage. Halak's backing him up with a 7-2-1 record, 2.07 goals against, 935 save percentage. On the Detroit side of things, Howard, 6-6-2, 2.64 goals against, 922 save percentage. He's backed up by Bernier, 3-3 record, 3.59 goals against, and his save percentage is now above 900, 901. Good for him. Last 10 games, Boston's been 5-4-1. As I said, they're looking to build some momentum tonight. And for Detroit, they're 8-2. On the road, Boston is a mediocre 4-4-3. At home, Detroit is 5-4-1. The numbers tell me Detroit's going to win this. The fact that Boston killed Detroit the last time they played them tells me Detroit's going to win this. We'll see in the end what happens. But I will say this, that if, let's say Rask goes out tonight and doesn't play a very good game, it's going to make things muddier in that Halak will probably get even more starts. Rask really needs to put together some quality starts. I think Bruce Cassidy wants him to be the starter. The Bruins, their organization, wants him to be the starter, but they've got to win the games. So if Rask's record drops to 4-5-1 tonight, I would think Halak will play for a while, and I would think that would basically give him that starter's job. But we'll see what happens with that one. Next up, Vancouver, the Canucks. They're below 500 now. 10 wins, 11 losses, 2 overtime or shootout losses. And they're in against Anaheim, who are 8-9-5. So this could be an ugly game. And it could be an ugly game because of the fact that both teams are just not playing very solidly right now. And that's being as nice as possible about it. On the Vancouver side, Pettersson now leads the scorers with 12 goals and 7 assists. Horvat, 10 goals, 9 assists. Goldobin, 3 goals, 10 assists. Louis Eriksson, 4 goals, 8 assists. Brock Besser, 4 goals, 7 assists. Virtanen, 8 goals, 2 assists. Granlund, 4 goals, 6 assists. And Hutton with 4 goals and 5 assists. On the Anaheim side of things, Getzlaf, 5 goals, 9 assists. Raquel, 3 goals and 10 assists. So Getzlaf's now officially their top scorer, which is both good for Getzlaf and problematic for the team. Because Getz has missed games, and really, honestly, there should be somebody with more than 6 goals on this team. Henrique, 4 goals, 6 assists. Fowler, who's out for indefinite period of time, 3 goals, 7 assists. Lindholm, 2 goals, 8 assists. Silverberg has 5 goals, 5 assists. Montour, 2 goals and 7 assists for him. And Aberg has 6 goals and 2 assists to get on the board and lead the team in goal scoring. That's a weird one right there. That's really, really strange. I don't think anybody would have guessed that was going to happen. Markstrom's going to be starting tonight. Markstrom's starting till Nilsson gets back. Markstrom is so overworked. 7-7-2 record. 3.38 goals against. 897 save percentage. Bachman's backing him up. 0-1 record. 6.00 goals against. 793 save percentage. Nilsson 3-3 record. 2.67 goals against. 912 save percentage. He's been out for so long. We'll see what happens when he gets back and whether or not he can get back to the early season magic he had. Early. Not even towards the end of his run there. On the Anaheim side, they haven't confirmed goalies. I would think it's Gibson, which would make Miller the backup with his 2-2-1 record. 2.71 goals against, 924 save percentage. Gibson starting with a 6-7-4 record. It's got to be frustrating for him. Has to be. 2.55 goals against, 928 save percentage. Over their last 10, Vancouver's an unflattering 3-5-2, and Anaheim is an uninspiring 3-4-3. This is that somebody's got to win this one game. On the road, Vancouver's 5-7-2 at home. Anaheim's 5-3-5. Working in Anaheim's favor, normally they kill Vancouver in this situation. Normally this is an absolute slaughter for the Anaheim Ducks. That's how I remember it. My PTSD as a Canucks fan states that this is normally one of those games that does not work out exactly in Vancouver's favor. And I don't necessarily see it working out in their favor tonight either, just because it's been a brutal schedule. Now they get to go out in California. Yay! And I'm like, oh, good, they're on a losing streak. Yeah, let's go to California. Let's just... Anyways, I'm anticipating a win for Anaheim here, and maybe some of those goal scorers will get to put some up on that poor Markstrom dude. Next up, Dallas 11-8-2, in against Pittsburgh 7-8-4. If we're going to talk about teams I cheer for that are inconsistent, Dallas is right there. Sagan leads them in scoring with 7 goals, 14 assists. Ben, 7 goals, 10 assists. Radulov, 8 goals, 7 assists. Spezza, 4 goals, 10 assists. Klingberg, 5 goals, 8 assists. Shore, 5 goals, 6 assists. Lindell, 3 goals, 6 assists. And Dickinson still on the board with 4 goals and 4 assists for the Dallas Stars. On the Pittsburgh side, you remember Pittsburgh, right? They won the Stanley Cup in 2016 and 2017. This team hasn't looked anything like that team. They've lost 12 out of 19 games. Malkin, 7 goals, 20 assists. Kessel, 10 goals, 4 assists. Crosby, who's supposed to play tonight, is the rumor, 8 goals, 11 assists. Letang, 5 goals, 9 assists. Hornquist, 8 goals, 5 assists. Gensel, 7 goals, 6 assists. Simone, 4 goals, 6 assists. And Alexiak still on the board with 4 goals and 8 assists. And he may very well score because Dallas is the team that handed him off. Goaltenders, Hudobin starting tonight. He has a 3-3-1 record, 2.37 goals against, 925 save percentage. Bishop is out with some obscure injury. 8-5-1 record, 2.33 goals against, 922 save percentage. And on the other side, DeSmith will be starting, which means Murray's the backup. Murray has a 4-5-1 record, 4.08 goals against, 877 save percentage. Those are getting into Calvin Pickard territory. And on the Pittsburgh side, DeSmith is 3-3-3. It's a very unusual record to have. 2.53 goals against, 923 save percentage. Over their last 10, Dallas 5-3-2, Pittsburgh 1-7-2. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. But it checks out because, yeah, they were 6-1-2 early in the year. And my power rankings, I was being told off they weren't number one. They should be number one. Look at them. They're fantastic. And I thought, they've been good, but not fantastic. If not for that Western Canadian swing, where they started in Toronto with a win and then they went out and they swept all the Western Canadian teams, so that was 4 in a row, their record would be absolutely abysmal. On the road, Dallas is below 500, 4-5-1. At home, Pittsburgh's below 500 at 3-5-2. Home ice has not been an advantage for Pittsburgh. It's a bizarre world. I know, people say, well, every dynasty has to die off. And I understand that. and I understand why people refer to Pittsburgh as a dynasty. I get it. But it's still weird to see it happening. Especially with all of those players still playing and still in their prime. Kessel, Malkin, Crosby, all still in their prime. Letang's having a good year. And yet, Pittsburgh's falling apart. It's really, really strange. Next up, Montreal. Les Habitants. They're 11-6-4. They're flying high. They're in against New Jersey tonight, who are 8-9-4, and hoping that home ice advantage is the advantage for them tonight that it's been all season. On the Montreal side of things, their leading scorer is Max Domi with 10 goals, 15 assists. Tatar, 9 goals, 8 assists. Drouin, 7 goals, 10 assists. Petrie, 2 goals, 15 assists. And Gallagher, 10 goals, 5 assists. Dano, 1 goal, 11 assists for him. Kotkaniemi, 3 goals, 9 assists. And Arturi Lekkinen, 2 goals and 9 assists to round out the scorers for Montreal. On the New Jersey side, Palmieri, 11 goals, 9 assists. Hall, 5 goals, 14 assists. Zajac, 7 goals, 7 assists. Severson, 3 goals, 10 assists. Heischer, 3 goals, 9 assists. Coleman, 7 goals, 4 assists. Boyle, 6 goals and 1 assist. And Will Butcher, 1 goal, 6 assists to round out the scorers for New Jersey. On the goaltending front, Niemi will be the backup. He has a 4-2 record, 3.74 goals against, 887 save percentage. Price will be in net, 7-4-4 record, 3.05 goals against, 900 save percentage. Kincaid will be starting for New Jersey, 8-5-2 record, 2.62 goals against, 916 save percentage. He'll be backed up by Corey Schneider, who they can trade back to Vancouver anytime they'd like. 0-4 record, 4.08 goals against, 865 save percentage. Ugly numbers. Just trade him over to Vancouver. We'll give you Bachman for him, and we're good. Last 10 games, Montreal 5-3-2 overall. New Jersey 3-6-1. So ugly record for New Jersey. They're trying to turn that around, obviously. On the road, Montreal's 5-3-2, respectable. And at home, New Jersey 6-1-2. Excellent home record for New Jersey. When they get out on the road, it kind of turns into a yard sale. But they're good at home, and they're hoping to take advantage of that tonight against Montreal in a game that'll have a lot of red on the ice. Between the two jerseys, could be a lot of red. That's my prediction, anyways. Don't say I don't take a chance. I honestly, Domi's got the 10-game point streak coming in. Montreal looks fast. They swarm. They score a bunch of goals all in a row. I don't know how long you can keep that up. And the comebacks and all that stuff, but there's been comebacks all over the league. And honestly, they are fun to watch. If you're a Habs fan, this has got to be the most fun Habs team to watch in a very long time. I know a couple years ago they were in the playoffs too, but this team just has something that team didn't. Just the amount of speed, the intensity, the enthusiasm is fantastic. So, props so far to Marc Bergevin for putting this together. And I don't think any of us saw that coming. Praise for Marc Bergevin. Feels kind of weird, doesn't it? It feels weird to me anyways. But for New Jersey, below 500, you have to win this game. You're at home. You have to win this game. I don't care who's coming in. You have to win it, because if you don't, that's another nail in the coffin, and maybe GM looks at trading people off. Ottawa, 9-9-3. They're in against the 12-7-2 Minnesota Wild. Ottawa's been very wildly inconsistent. The one thing that has been consistent is Duchesne, who leads the Ottawa Senators in scoring with 10 goals and 17 assists. He has 27 points in 21 games. Duchesne right now is playing the best hockey of his entire career. And he's playing exactly how he had been expected to play when he was drafted so highly years ago. This is the player that teams thought they were getting. First Colorado and then Ottawa. And he's finally showing that he can realize that potential. And I don't care what the impetus behind this run is. He's having a very solid run. Stone is right behind him at 9 goals and 15 assists. Chabot, 5 goals, 19 assists. Helping all Ottawa fans to forget all about Erik Karlsson. Tierney, 2 goals, 15 assists. Also helping people forget about Erik Karlsson. Dzingel, 9 goals, 7 assists. Ryan, 5 goals, 8 assists. White with 6 goals and 6 assists. And Bodker, the guy they got back for Hoffman, 2 goals and 9 assists for him. On the Minnesota side, Granlund, 10 goals, 9 assists. Parise, 9 goals, 9 assists. Koivu, 4 goals, 14 assists. It's been a nice run for Mikko Koivu. Suter, 3 goals, 12 assists. Stahl, 6 goals, 8 assists. Zucker also has 6 goals and 8 assists. Dumba, 8 goals, 5 assists. And Charlie Coyle with 3 goals and 7 assists. He's tied with Spurgeon, but I put Coyle up there. Minnesota's been on an interesting little run themselves, and they're going to want to get that momentum back in the win column for themselves. Ottawa's going to be a tough test. Who's starting for Ottawa? Of course, it's Anderson, right? McKenna will be backing up with 0-1 record, 5.41 goals against, 862 save percentage. Condon, 0-2, 6.38 goals against, 800 save percentage. He's still in the American League. Anderson, 9-6-3 record, 3.77 goals against, and a 901 save percentage. Man, ouch. Dubnyk is the starter tonight for Minnesota. 9-5-2 record, 2.36 goals against, 925 save percentage. He'll be backed up by Alex Stalock, who has a 3-2 record, 2.6 goals against, and a 909 save percentage. Last 10, Ottawa's 5-4-1. Minnesota's now 6-4. On the road, it's an uninspiring record for the Ottawa Senators, 2-5-1, and at home it is 6-2-2 for the Minnesota Wild. This is one of those games that we could see a ton of goals, because Ottawa allows a ton of shots. Absolute ton. And much like Markstrom, to me, has looked like he's kind of breaking down in the Vancouver net. He was solid after that first goal for Winnipeg the other night, but still, there's some rough patches for Markstrom, and I think some of it has to do with being tired. I think Anderson's absolutely exhausted in the Ottawa net as well. They just don't have an option. There is no option. You can't throw in McKenna, because you're still playing important games. And with McKenna, it's just not there. The kid's got all the heart, but that NHL level goaltending just isn't necessarily there. On the Minnesota side, they've got Dubnyk, who was a resurrected career, and Stalock, kind of a resurrected career as well. So if you look at it from that point of view, it's absolutely an advantage for Minnesota. Last 10 and records at home and on the road. This all looks like it should be a win going away from Minnesota. But here's the thing. Ottawa's won some games they weren't supposed to this year. They've won a lot of games they're not supposed to. They've also lost some games they probably should have won. But it's been a very interesting ride for Ottawa, and I'll be interested to see what this one does tonight, because your guess is as good as mine on that one. Next up, Toronto, 15-6. That's right. Toronto's got 15 wins and 6 losses. And tonight they're in against the 9-8-3 Carolina Hurricanes, a team desperately trying to get things figured out. And it's going to be a matchup between two very interesting goaltenders tonight. We'll get to that. For the Leafs, their leading scorer is Mitch Marner, 6 goals, 22 assists. 22 assists in 23 games. Kid's amazing. Riley, 9 goals, 21 games. Sorry, 22 assists in 21 games. Sorry. Yeah, 21 games, 22 assists. Riley, 9 goals, 17 assists. Tavares, 13 goals, 12 assists. Matthews, 10 goals, 6 assists. Kapanen, 8 goals, 7 assists. Kadri, 7 goals, 7 assists. Marleau, 4 goals, 8 assists. Hyman, 3 goals, 7 assists. No word yet on when Matthews is coming back. It could be as soon as this weekend. But I'm going to keep watching Marner's stats, because if he ends up with like 60 or 70 assists, and people still think, oh, they could probably sign him for cheap. No, you can't. Not with those kinds of stats. On the Carolina side of things, Aho, 6 goals, 17 assists. Teravainen, 4 goals, 12 assists. Ferland, 10 goals, 4 assists. Williams, 2 goals, 10 assists. Stahl, 5 goals, 4 assists. Svechnikov, 4 goals, 4 assists. Falk, 1 goal, 7 assists. And Hamilton, with 3 goals and 4 assists, gets on the board. So Dougie Hamilton's on the board for them. Ferland's on the board for them. Both Calgary and Carolina, I think, are happy with that deal right now. You can go out on a limb and say both teams are happy with that deal, which is not unusual in the NHL right now, where both teams look at a trade and go, yeah, we did pretty well. We all look for winners and losers, but sometimes it turns out they're both winners. Because, Canadian and all, right? You're both winners. You're both winners. Get out of here, you silly kids. And it's because we're Canadians. It's just what we do. Anderson starting tonight for Toronto, which means Sparks is the backup with a 3-1 record, 3.20 goals against, and a .906 save percentage. Anderson, of course, is 12-5, 2.08 goals against, .935 save percentage. One of the more popular players in Toronto right now. On the Carolina side of things, McElhinney's starting. That's right. Backing up will be Darling. 2-3-1 record, 2.99 goals against, .903 save percentage. Mrazek, of course, is hurt. He has a 3-3-2 record, 2.75 goals against, .880 save percentage. McElhinney as the starter, 4-2 record for him, 2.51 goals against, .903 save percentage. Record over their last 10, Toronto is 7-3, and Carolina is 3-5-2. On the road, Toronto is 9-1. That is an insane record. 9-1 for Toronto on the road, and Carolina at home is 5-4-2. This is one of those games where Toronto's 9-1 record looks a little bit too good to be true, only because teams don't normally win, say, 35, 40 games on the road. But we'll see what happens with Toronto. This is going to be a very interesting game because you got McElhinney against his former teammates and against the guy that he was a backup to, and Freddie Anderson. He's going to want to prove Toronto made a mistake giving him away. So it could be a great game tonight for McElhinney, or maybe the Toronto Maple Leaf players are like, hey, we like Curtis and all, but we know his weaknesses, and maybe they could take advantage of some of that tonight. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup for them. And 15-6 record. Let's see if they can get 16-6 for tomorrow's break. That would be kind of crazy, wouldn't it? As much as we expected Toronto to be good, they've kind of been better than expected, especially considering there's still no Nylander, and Matthews has been out for a large portion of this run. And now I got to change boards. Interesting note, so we're going to preview the last two games here. There was a knock at the door during the Toronto-Carolina portion. I know the microphone probably didn't pick it up. What's at my door? The board. Originally, when I ordered it, was supposed to be here yesterday, so that I would have had it to work with. Okay. So yeah, that's how my day's going so far. St. Louis is in against Nashville tonight. St. Louis is 7-9-3. They're in against the Nashville Predators, who are 15-5-1. The St. Louis Blues, leading scorer, of course, is O'Reilly with 10 goals, 13 assists. This isn't going to change because they got shut out last game by the Blues, which got the coach fired. It's awkward. Tarasenko, 6 goals, 10 assists. Perron, 5 goals, 6 assists. Bozak, 3 goals, 8 assists. Steen, 5 goals, 5 assists. Braden Shen, 4 goals, 6 assists. Jaden Schwartz, 2 goals, 7 assists. And Dunn with 3 goals and 5 assists rounds out the top 8. On the Nashville side, Johansson, 4 goals, 16 assists. Forsberg, 13 goals, 6 assists. Turris, 5 goals, 11 assists. Yossi, 5 goals, 10 assists. Arvidsson, 8 goals, 5 assists. Ekholm, 3 goals, 10 assists. Subban, 2 goals, 10 assists. And Smith, 5 goals and 5 assists. When you look at the goaltenders, no confirmation necessarily, but there's a probably for Nashville. Johnson's got a 2-4 record, 2.41 goals against, .916 save percentage. I would go with Allen. Allen played well the last game. It wasn't his fault they lost. 5-5-3 record, 3.33 goals against, 895 save percentage. And if St. Louis is going to turn this around, it's going to have to be with Allen. It's not going to be with Johnson. Rene is likely 8-2-1 record, 1.69 goals against, 942 save percentage. Those are Hasek-like numbers. Saros 7-3 record, 2.94 goals against, 903 save percentage for him. Last 10 games, St. Louis is 5-5, Nashville 7-2-1. On the road, St. Louis is 2-3-2. So the bad news for St. Louis too is they've only played 7 games on the road. Most of these losses and most of this crappy record is at home. So St. Louis is just hosing themselves badly here. And Nashville at home is 7-3. They were 3-3, no longer. 7-3 record for them. They've been very, very good in Nashville over their last 4 games. And this is a big test. You've got your coach fired. Now you got a new coach, and you're trying to prove your worth in the NHL. And for O'Reilly, he's got to get back on that hot streak. He's been kind of cold this past week, after having a fantastic week there and getting all cocky and everything, and then that's sort of gone right off the cliff. And now Nashville, a division rival, Nashville's not going to have any mercy on them either. Next up, Colorado. Yes, the Avalanche. A team that is, right now, I guess they look like they're a playoff team. And their record, knew I'd miss something when I'm doing 14 games. 10-6-4 is that record for the Colorado Avalanche, and the LA Kings are 7-12-1. Rantanen leads the way in scoring for Colorado and for the NHL with 8 goals and 24 assists. 24 assists for Rantanen in 20 games. That's insane. That's on pace for 100 assists. I think that'll get scaled back before the end of the year. I don't think he's going to have 100 assists, but stranger things have happened, right? McKinnon, 13 goals, 16 assists. Landeskog, 13 goals and 9 assists. Barry, 1 goal, 16 assists. Kerfoot, 4 goals, 10 assists. Soderberg, 7 goals, 6 assists. Gerard with 1 goal, 8 assists. And Wilson on the board with 5 goals and 3 assists. On the LA side of things, Kovalchuk is stuck at 5 goals and 9 assists. He's at 14 points in 20 games now. He's been at 14 points for a while. Toffoli, 5 goals, 6 assists. Doughty, 1 goal, 10 assists. Carter, 4 goals, 6 assists. Kopitar, 6 goals, 3 assists. Iafallo, 4 goals, 5 assists. Brown with 3 goals, 4 assists. And Martinez, 1 goal and 5 assists for the 7-12-1 LA Kings. Goaltenders, Varlamov is confirmed. Grubauer will be the backup with a 4-1-2 record, 3.36 goals against, and an 896 save percentage. Varlamov, 6-5-2 record, 2.32 goals against, 926 save percentage. I would go with Peterson if I was LA. Campbell, of course, is still hurt, 5-7 record, 2.33 goals against, 923 save percentage. That would make Budaj the backup. Budaj's 0-1 with a 5.50 goals against, 833 save percentage. And Jonathan Quick, who's still hurt as well, 0-3-1 record, 4.55 goals against, 845 save percentage. Peterson, 2-1 record, 1.64 goals against, 951 save percentage. And they're talking about him being the goalie of the future. Maybe he's the goalie of the now. And it'll be very interesting to see if he continues playing the way he has. What do they do when they get healthy? I know that's a long ways down the road, but what do they do when other goalies get healthy? That's when things get interesting if you're the Kings. Over their last 10, Colorado's 4-4-2. LA's surprisingly 5-5 over their last 10. On the road, Colorado's 6-4-2, which is better than their record last year on the road. And at home, LA is 4-6-1. So LA, not been great at home. Colorado's been better on the road than they were last year on the road. And this is a game that Colorado should absolutely win. Yes, they should win this one going away. The Kings shouldn't be any match for them. But those are the games that Colorado seems to struggle with at times. So we'll see. Because, again, part of what causes this whole league to be as unpredictable as it is the parity. Is because of the fact the difference between Team 1 and Team 31 is nowhere near what the difference would have been in 1986 between Team 1 and Team 21. No comparison back then. Now, almost every team has a superstar player, a big name, big scorers. Everybody's got something, and nobody is really truly a completely screwed up franchise of no one of name value, name recognition. Back in the 80s, we would see that, where there were just teams that was like, wow, that's not a good team. And that doesn't really happen anymore. A lot of what we see is momentum. A lot of what's happened with LA has been just some poor judgment along the way. Momentum shifts against them, and just there are definitely scenarios where LA could have had a 12-7-1 record replaying those exact same games, just with a bit of a change in how they did things, a bit of a change in strategy, maybe a change in who was in net. But that's how this all goes down, and we're up to that part of the year where some teams are headed towards a really poor finish, and some are headed towards top seeds headed into the Stanley Cup playoffs. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.